Board of Health meeting for June the 11th. The meeting is starting at 4:03 and we are being recorded. Okay. We're going to hold off on the board organization until next month.
Until Kevin's present.
Yes, yes. So we can move on to the Board of Health minutes here.
Yes.
Yes. The signature is on the back.
Right.
I couldn't fit it all on one page.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
And I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye. I went red.
Oh, yeah, red's no good. Well, not legal. Okay.
You want to do
Yes.
76 so she doesn't have to.
Yeah, I figured we would do everything else first and then.
Thank you.
One plan or two plans?
We can share a plan, but I like the notes, the review notes. '76 Carriage Road.
This is a plan prepared by Frank Nichols. He's got, the 3 variance requests from the local upgrade approval. Section 1504, 1505, seeks the following local upgrades specifically. 1505, 15405, allow civil analysis to be used to determine local groundwater LTI for design. Civil analysis show a complete composite of 51% sand, 46% silt, and 3% clay, which classifies the soil as a sand dune. I thought it said 2 here, but that's only.
No, it's only, it's just the
explained.
sieve.
So it says, yeah, okay.
No, it says only says 1 here.
Yeah.
On the bottom, it only says 1.
No, I just realized, it looked like it said 2 right here. He's got 2 different notes. It's a standard pump system, and it meets all the Title V requirements. You see the review notes. We don't,
Just a few things that he
yeah.
changes. And were the changes made that were requested?
Yes.
And civil analysis.
Yeah, civil analysis, so, and that's
Supply
applied, so.
location of the existing. Mostly stuff that you want in the plan. And these are just all the recommendations, he made changes to the plan.
All right, let you review the plan.
Let me see. There we go.
Offsets have been added.
Okay.
The standard infiltrated chamber system in field configuration. It's a pump system.
The oil pumps will be equipped with an alarm located inside the building.
Sieve analysis results have been added.
Yep.
I don't have any problems.
Okay.
Motion to approve. Does this is that pending conservation approval?
No. So motion to approve, plans for 76 Carriage Road.
Motions to approve plans for 76 Carriage Road.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All set?
Thank you. Do I need any, do I need to leave it?
Nope. So, it looks like they have, Larry Page as the installer. He's not permitted currently, so he needs to be permitted in order to do the install.
Okay, so you need, so,
He can contact the office.
oh, Frank, can you coordinate it?
No,
Just let,
Larry needs to contact the office, yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Is this a new form?
No? Oh, maybe that's his form?
Okay, I'm like, this is not what we usually do.
Yeah.
I just said what the date was, it must be the
The
11th.
11th.
Things are not as they normally are. So I will leave the rest for you to fill in, because I don't know who goes where. My name and the town. That I know is correct. And didn't we have another one?
No,
Oh, the other one was a maybe.
the other one was in the.
She wasn't sure it was gonna be ready, but she wanted to have it on in case it
458
was.
High Street. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not ready.
Not ready.
Not ready. She didn't get the things in that she needed.
This is approved.
Where's my clip?
All right.
It was helpful to understand the review protocol, which is comparing the notes from the
Review engineer?
review engineer and the design engineer. So,
Yeah, right.
great.
And I love the review notes, because then I can figure out. Okay, we did that. That's all set, that's all permits. Might as well tackle that first. The reason I put it
I
on
was gonna say, I don't remember
she
why.
doesn't remember, I asked for permits to be put on because we've had a couple of incidences, maybe like 3, where we're noticing things on Facebook where people are serving food and
Oh,
no
yes.
permits and no serve safe. One of them was Hanson Little League. I did reach out to them and ask them to call the office, and someone did call me back last week, and I was told that they would take care of coming in and getting a permit. They've run a snack shack for 1,000,000 years, and they've never been permitted, and they're supposed to be.
Did the hot food snack shack?
Yeah. The thing that came to our attention 2 weeks ago was somebody was cooking barbecue on site and serving it.
Okay.
And the man had a very nice picture of him cutting up brisket or something. He had no gloves on. Not everything belongs on Facebook. And then there's another local company that's planning on putting on a hamburger contest. They did it last year, but last year they did not reach out to us to get a permit, and neither have they yet this year. So we need to talk with them. It's actually raw hamburger. People are going to be mixing up and cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So they need a permit. And I think there's been a couple of other things that have popped up. There was a farm stand that was opening. It showed up on Facebook. They weren't permitted. They did get permitted by the time we reached out in contact with them. So I don't know how we make people aware of the rules and regulations about when you're serving food to the public. And I don't know, because the guy said to me, well, we've been doing this for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, you have. Somebody should have noticed with the snack shack that you didn't have a permit.
So the snack shack is it on town property?
It's on town property.
Is that the factor that makes it fall within the scope of Board of Health or agent review?
Anybody that does any kind of serving of food
We're selling of food even.
or selling of food
Anything that's ingested.
has to have a permit. It doesn't matter if it's on town property or, if you're having your own barbecue, that's different.
Yep.
But if you're serving and selling food,
Yep.
you have to have a permit.
fundraiser is included in that?
Yeah.
They're serving food to the public. The snack shack started off with packaged foods.
Yep.
And through the years, it expanded. And they started doing hot dogs and hamburgers, and it's just expanded this. And this last time here was out of control because they had, look at the Facebook page, like maybe 100 people there.
Yeah.
And there's only one restroom, one porta potty. There's no hand washing stations. There's no, there's no sanitary air for people. And this guy's cooking. He's doing brisket. He's doing spare ribs, and serving to the public.
And selling. Yeah.
And the Little League is selling. Whatever he's doing, Little League is selling. So that kind of makes it, it's.
I don't even know what's in the snack shack. I've never been there.
Yeah.
So what do they serve? The snack shack, do you know? Yes, son hasn't played in a while. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Do they serve like hot dogs, hamburgers, food that they're preparing on site?
Yes. Okay.
So there's other things that come into play if they're preparing it on site. They have to have a clean sink, or they have to have a dirty sink. There's a bunch of regulations that they should be following. When they said snack shop, I would have thought was bags of chips.
Yeah, originally
I've
that's how
not-
it started, yes.
I've not been there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we're gonna need to look and see what it is they do to make sure that they get a couple of people that are serve safe, and whatever it is they need to do for their permit. But it's only one of, I think, a couple that have popped up just in the past month.
So the requirements for permits are serve safe certification for.
Yep. What else did they name?
Serve safe, allergen, depends on the location. Serve safe, allergen. If there's 25 or more than 25 seats, you need an anti-choking certificate. Certificate of insurance for general liability. Workers' comp if you have it. And depending on the location, a grease trap contract.
But if they have volunteers that are serving the food,
Serve safe, allergen.
they still need that, but
Yeah.
they don't need the
No, grease trap they don't need because they'd be working off of a grill.
right.
It's not going into a septic. There's
Right.
no septic over there.
And then
And we know workers' comp
the certification of insurance.
liability.
I'm sure Little League has some type of liability. I would imagine.
That's a question we'd have to ask.
Okay.
The problems are, there's no hand wash sinks. Even porta potties, there's a calculation of how many people you're gonna serve, how many porta potties should be there. But to me, there's a hand washing, touching food. When we use hand washing, I don't even think, I didn't see too many of the pictures, like 20 pictures. Didn't see any type of sanitizer, napkins, something that, someone could wipe their hands and it just was,
Right.
the guy cutting the meat up.
The way he was holding the knife and the fork, he wasn't touching the food, but in handling food, he should have had gloves on. And
So is there precedent for this? Have we addressed something like this in the past?
No.
we haven't before because
No.
all of a sudden there's just a bunch of them.
Mm.
They just are popping up. And I think part of it is more people are doing a lot more of the at-home, like people selling their eggs, and those are starting to grow into other types of businesses.
Running a full barbecue at a Little League field is something different.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that.
And it's
He had
prepared.
the smoker there. He was
It's prepared
smoking
on
stuff.
site. Yeah. So it's not
Yes.
catered. It's not a catered event. It's
Not a catered event.
Yeah.
They were doing.
If it was catered, the caterer would need a permit.
right, and they would likely have it.
Right. Well, they should.
Yeah.
They should. We're not sure if they were aware that they needed to do that.
Do we know if he was a caterer and just wasn't following?
Insurance. I believe he owns an insurance company. Or is
I think it was an
Realty.
insurance or investment, something like that.
And
Just do due diligence to make sure we're not going to ask a caterer to go.
no,
Well,
definitely
the-
was
Even
not.
it would be irrelevant because the caterer would have to be permitted with our office
With
as
our
well.
office, okay?
Wait a minute. Financial group. The person who was doing it was a financial group. So not a caterer.
Gil, do you have any ideas on how to address it?
Well, I think it's very difficult due to the fact that you've got it's a sports organization in town and they feel that, can pretty much do what they want. I mean, they didn't respond to me. The guy, I don't think he ever called.
He called me.
Called for me.
He responded to me.
So he waited
Actually-
just-
What they did was whoever got the message off of Facebook talked to other people in the group and asked anybody if they knew me. So one of the guys did know me, and he called me and explained the circumstance that, you need a permit for this. And we had the whole discussion about, we've had the snack shack forever, and we never, needed one. But you did need one. Nobody knew that you didn't have one or wasn't paying attention to it. So he gave me the name of someone that was supposed to contact the office and talk to Teresa, and that was last week. And she hasn't heard, so I might reach back out to him. So they didn't give me a hard time about it. They just said we didn't know. And so I said, moving forward, you need a permit, so somebody needs to work on that. So I didn't feel like they weren't responsive to it. I didn't know that they didn't have a permit, but I see things now on Facebook, and I think they don't have a permit.
Yeah. All right, so they've been informed.
They've been informed.
By a Board of Health representative that
Yes.
they need a permit.
Yes.
They've committed to reaching out, and they haven't reached out yet.
Yes.
What are our next steps?
Gotta get me to talk, it's serious, to me, they should probably have a caterer there or something, someone just sitting there, setting up his equipment, start cooking and dishing out food, it just can't happen. The person's gotta be,
I don't know if they're having other events like that, other than
the whole group is growing and growing, and it's a lot larger than it was 3 years ago.
Well, that he's charging is the challenge, right?
I believe they are.
But even serving food to the public.
Yes,
They
sir.
can't, and it's on town property.
Yeah, town property.
Right.
So that
was
opens the
other
town up
thing.
to liability.
The town
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed messages. Is it the financial component, the town land component, and
Yes.
the serving to the public component?
Yes.
All
Each
of
of those independently require food permits, not in combination.
Not necessarily serving it on town property, but you wouldn't be allowed to serve on town property without getting a permit or having it waived. Like we have Hanson Day here. If somebody was serving hot dogs,
They have to get a permit.
they have to get a permit.
Generally, that's a 1-day temporary food permit or a catering permit, depending on the situation.
So
But
serving food, charging or not, to the
If
public
you're-
on town
right,
property.
Right, for example, the hamburger contest,
Yes.
Yep.
they needed a permit, or they could hire a caterer to do it for them.
Mhm.
They are not able to do that because it could make the public sick.
On town property, which makes
No,
sense.
that's
this is
private
two
property.
separate things. So there was an occurrence that somebody, when she first started discussing this, she said there was another occasion where somebody wanted to cook hamburgers and they were going to give them to the public. It was some type of contest they wanted to do. They reached out to the Board of Health and they were told they needed a permit or they needed to hire a caterer.
Mhm.
So they were going to hire a caterer or they weren't going to do it, I guess, is what it turned out to be. So they weren't selling anything, but they were giving food away for free that they were cooking. But it's still the potential for somebody to get sick.
So I'm going to reframe this, and I'm sorry, but I have to
That's
focus
okay.
this a bit. I think that people would argue, what's the difference between a cookout and what we're describing here then?
This is a business.
But they're not paying, they're not charging.
Right, but they were going to have different people come in. It was like a best
Like a-
burger contest.
It was a
And
trade-
that's what it
At the
is.
same time, it's a trade show also, because the equipment that the food is being cooked in is equipment they were selling. And the people doing the cooking were the sales representatives of the product.
Okay.
They
I
had-
don't think they're the
Yep.
sales
Yeah,
representatives.
the sales representatives, because I went over
We
this,
had discussions with them about it.
okay?
So it's business related.
Yes, it was a business in town.
related.
All right.
The event hasn't happened yet, and I don't think we've heard from them yet in terms of. But they're cooking the burgers, and someone's going to be judging them. So somebody's going to be eating them.
The relationship between the people cooking the food and the people eating the food is a business relationship versus a cookout.
Yeah,
Where
wasn't
it's
it,
just,
right.
Yes,
okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not like, I'm trying to put myself in the mind of somebody who's going to receive like the request for a permit and understand.
Right.
It's not a cookout, it's
No, it's not
a
a
marketing
cookout.
event.
Yes,
So this marketing event required a permit. Got it.
yeah, or a
Now,
caterer.
Yep.
Mhm.
The one on the Little League property is public land. And for sale or not, you're on public land serving food. And like, how's that different than somebody having a grill at Kiwani?
You're serving food to people that you don't even know.
Even at Kiwani,
People coming in, if, people coming in, like the Little League, yeah, all, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, players, yeah, they know and whatnot, but you get people also attending, maybe grandfathers, grandparents like that. So all it takes is one person sick. So you gotta make sure that
And they're also
everybody's trained,
purchasing this stuff.
and they're purchasing.
And that's
They're purchasing the food.
the one at the Little League one is public land and it's being purchased.
But yeah, they're
For
selling.
these two examples, I agree, permits are
Yeah.
needed.
Mhm.
But I don't want to blur the line and have, folks of Hanson think that we're going to ask them to permit for
That we're gonna be stocking
cookouts.
ourselves in the door when they
You know
have
what I
a
mean?
cookout.
That's my concern. And it doesn't sound that way. I wanted to, because this is a recorded meeting, I wanted to give voice to the circumstance with specific details so there's no confusion.
Right. In
Right.
Kewanee, anything over 25 people.
No, 75 or more people, they're required to have a caterer.
Okay.
And if any caterer that works in Hanson is supposed to be permitted.
Okay.
That's in the food code.
So we missed the opportunity on the hamburger event that
No, it hasn't happened
it
yet.
hasn't yet.
It
Okay.
has not happened yet.
Gil has spoken. with them.
Gil has already spoken to them. And now we're waiting for them to reach back out about the Little League, and if they don't, what do we do?
Then we're gonna have to reach out and contact them and tell them that we need to, have them come in and have a conversation with us,
Mhm.
or close down the snack shack until it's resolved. Because they shouldn't be selling food without a permit. And I'm not saying we should go and do that tomorrow, but I mean, if we wait another 2 or 3 weeks and they still haven't done it, then there has to be a way to get them in here, and that might be if they don't come in and get the permit,
Mhm.
then at some point they're gonna have to close until they have a permit. Does that sound unreasonable?
And even giving the food away, that don't matter. They'll say, oh, we're just giving the food. No, that doesn't matter at all. You're still cooking, you're providing food to the public. And,
Not to family, not to friends. To the public from a town facility,
Okay.
the snack shack.
And they don't do that at, Elsie Thomas. That field there, they don't have a snack shack there.
No.
I don't even know who plays there. I'm
Girls
assuming it's
softball.
softball.
Mhm.
Okay.
No, I think the only snack shack, Robinson doesn't have a snack shack. The only snack shack I think is the Terry.
So, course of action for the hamburger,
We have to wait to hear back from them.
but we've informed them they need a permit. They've been informed,
They've been informed.
well informed.
well informed. And now for the Little League ones, they've been informed they need a permit. And
Yes.
we're waiting for engagement and
Yes. And I can reach back out to the person that I talked to now and let him know that I've not heard anything. I have his number.
I
And-
think too that they might be, it's the end of school. So parents are like
busy.
running around because that might be, because they're all parents that are running it. So it could be that that's why they haven't reached out, because
Yeah.
they're trying to deal with getting their kid tomorrow. Well, Thursday's the last day of school, so.
I don't know, I heard somebody the other day say, last days of freedom are coming. Because everybody's gonna be home.
Yep.
In a minute, so you will not be free to do anything.
And the messaging to the Little League food distributor is like informing them why this needs a permit. It's on
Right.
town land.
And,
It's serving to the public. It's hot food prepared on site.
Right.
We have all of our data. Our
Even if
talking
it's not
points.
hot food, even,
It's food prepared on site.
but even
No.
if it's candy or chips or anything, you still need to have
we
a food
we
permit.
have local markets that have chips and stuff like that, packaged stuff.
The liquor
They still
store,
have to have a permit.
the liquor store
Yeah.
has a food permit.
Right.
If
Right.
they sell chips.
Okay.
Smoke shop too has chips, only chips basically,
I've never been into the
Yeah.
smoke shop, so I can't say.
and they have a permit too, so.
Oh, they must have chips.
I honest to God can't say, I've never been.
That was a long time ago. I ran through there when we were getting rid of the cartridges, the Jewel.
Oh, yeah.
That was a long time ago. So I don't remember what they had. But that's just, I wanted to bring it up because it seemed like it just kept bubbling up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
It's seasonal. It makes sense that this would be a seasonal spike.
Yeah. But again, if people don't know that they need it, like the people that were opening up their little shop, they had no clue
Yeah.
that they needed a permit.
So, yeah, and then with as part of the food permit for the Little League events, if they want to continue to have that type of event, the things that we've described are having ServSafe certification, allergen certification, if there's greater than 25 seats, the choking, certificate of insurance or liability, who's liable.
Right.
There's no grease trap requirement there.
No.
They're cooking on grills now.
Yeah.
No.
The hand wash station is a requirement and gloves are a
Absolutely.
requirement. And then the ratio of porta potties to people at a food event is also.
Yeah, that's a standard practice. I mean, they only have one there. You think they have more than one, but I mean, I would say for 100 people, it's like maybe 4 total. That's good.
Is there something in the statute about that?
Yeah.
All right, then we need to bring that to them.
Sounds like you're on it, Gil. You have all your talking points.
I think it's a chart because there's a chart so many porta potties of so many people. So.
Yeah.
And then handicap one of so many people. So it gets pretty involved when you get involved with them because, I mean, it's a very odd situation at a baseball field because this person came in, they started cooking a lot of food, and the facility was not prepared for that probably, or they didn't have enough facility for them to do it. But he's cooking, and it's just not a good thing.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's a public health risk there.
Yes.
Yep. Great. Okay. Transfer station or?
I'm going to diverge and do this real quick.
Okay.
Because I think we voted on this last year. This is a woman requesting authorization for her husband.
Father.
How?
Father-in-law? Is
Yeah,
that
but she wants the husband's car to be able to get a transfer sticker for the father-in-law who lives here in Hanson. And I believe we did this last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we voted on it. The Hanson resident lives on West Washington Street, and he can no longer drive. So they bring his trash to the transfer station. So what they're asking for is to put it on the son's vehicle, so that he can, but he lives in Whitman. And I think we did vote that we could do this last year.
Who's that?
Gremlin.
Gremlin?
Gremlin. Yeah.
He spent like 38 years on this board.
He was. Yeah. For help for a long, long time. And we've done this in the past. I remember we had a woman that lived in Pembroke. Her son
generally
lived
it's
in
not a
Pembroke.
sticker, generally it's a letter.
It's a letter.
Yeah.
So,
the question I had was, do we charge them the $65 to give it for a year? Or are they gonna be able to do it for free?
he has a dump sticker now. So he paid for that last year.
They may have paid for one and then it was that he was unable to go anymore. Hold on, let me look.
Could be, but because it said he had a sticker that expired on, that expires July of 2024. And it may have been it. But it may have been in his name, but the son's putting it on his car.
He does have one. Mm-hmm.
So I think they're asking
that was on his car though.
on Ed's car?
Yes, because I know
But
what
they
kind
were
of car.
getting rid of the car last year.
No, I think it's that they didn't want him to drive it.
Oh, I thought they were getting rid of the car.
He's
last
unable
year.
to drive now.
Huh?
He's unable to drive.
Well, no, that I know, but I also thought for some reason they were getting rid of the car. But so the question is, do we allow the son to get the sticker at Edward's house, but put it on his vehicle, which is, even though his vehicle is registered in Whitman and not in Hanson. That way the sticker's being paid for. So we're just allowing him to get the sticker and use it on his vehicle in Edward's behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does. There's precedent, so I'm for approving allowing this, but I wonder, was last year's a letter and now we're moving to a sticker?
No, last year.
I think what
he
it was
had
was
one.
that he had a sticker and then he became unable to drive the vehicle.
Okay.
So I think we gave probably a letter because generally, I don't know that we've ever given a sticker to somebody that doesn't live in town.
No, because the lady that her son lived in Pembroke, I think we gave her a letter
Right. So
saying that he could take her trash.
right.
to
So the question is, pay for a sticker and get a letter that's good for the whole year, or pay for a sticker and give them a sticker. That's
Worry about the precedent of giving a sticker.
Right.
Mhm.
So we could ask them to pay the same cost and give them a letter that covers that same time period, but that allows the son
Mhm.
to bring his trash to the transfer station.
Okay.
What are our requirements for this so that this isn't gray? Is it immediate family only?
It depends on the situation because some people don't have immediate family and like their niece is taking care of them or
Okay.
their I mean,
A named
every
caregiver.
every family is different. Some people don't have children, and do you know what I mean?
I do, and that could get gray.
Like we
And you're right, not everyone has immediate
No,
family.
right.
like we had somebody who he lived in Whitman and his dad lived in Hanson. I forgot why he wanted a sticker. He wanted a transfer station sticker.
And we've never given a
And
sticker
we-
to
and-
somebody
and
that
we
doesn't
didn't-
live here,
and we-
ever.
so we
That-
didn't
as long as
allow
I've been
it.
here, then that's
He-
never happened.
Yeah,
I would say the letter makes sense
Hmm.
as an exception without protocol.
right.
Yeah, and
And
they'd have to pay the fee.
If
And
this gets
we'll-
out of hand.
I'll
yeah.
do it,
Oh, yeah.
and they'll be charged the $65.
Okay. Do you want us to take a vote on that, or is that just
No,
It's easy enough?
Yeah, it's easy enough, straightforward.
That's nice, Teresa, that you brought this to us.
Yeah,
It's good for this person.
yes.
it is? Sign it. We understand the need.
Thank you.
Okay, now, transfer station. Did I want that?
Yes, you did. Yep.
Now it's my
Those two
turn to
things,
say.
those two things in the workforce were you.
Oh, the workforce, I had a call with them,
Yeah.
so that's okay. It's, now I have to remember why I wanted the transfer station on, I should write myself notes. Either that or we're gonna have to come back.
We'll come back to it.
Yes, 'cause I'm like, what was the, what?
I can take a look at my notes from our last meeting, see if anything was open.
Yeah,
This is a thank you note from Green Hanson for the board as well. Oops, sorry.
transfer station.
There was nothing in the last meeting about.
No, so it had to be something that I either saw when I went up there, been a frequent flyer.
Statement I missed. That's good.
Yeah, that's a lot of nips. And we'll be, I don't know if we'll see a difference since we've banned them. Well, actually, people are posting pictures of bigger bottles being thrown out.
Just forces people to go outside of town to get them.
But they won't be on County Road because they will have bought them someplace else.
No, they're still gonna bring them here and drink them.
Do you think they're gonna wait until they get to County Road and whip them out? They're coming out of that liquor store.
I live on a main road and they're always on. So this is my opinion.
Yeah.
The only thing it's gonna do is hurt the businesses in Hanson. This isn't, I know they used Chelsea as a,
Oh, I don't
at
know.
town meeting,
Watch
they
out.
talked about Chelsea. Yes, in Chelsea, you
I
might not
missed
want to
it.
drive out of a city. Hanson is very small. The liquor stores or anybody that is selling nips are the ones that are going to get hurt because you're going to drive to Regal or you're going to drive right over the line in Halifax. It's not that far. It's
Well, you're
what's it,
gonna
5
get
minutes?
5.
It's just, I don't.
And is it 3 liquor stores?
In Hanson?
Yeah.
A Hanson Market, 14 and 58. The one by the train tracks.
T-stop.
T-stop. Is there any others? So they're all relatively close to other town
Cumberland
lines.
Farms, they sell liquor now.
Do they?
Where?
I think beer and wine.
Where?
Yeah, but this
Maybe
is-
they don't. Maybe they don't.
No.
Yeah, so it's just it's not as if it's so far away you can't get to another liquor store literally within a mile and a half. So
Yeah.
I think it's hurting the businesses in Hanson.
So just
Yep.
so it's recognized on record, there were more than 100 volunteers in 20 locations collecting 2,067 nips in 2 hours. And there were a few pictures that were shared of the number of nips. So Green Hanson, congratulations on a great cleanup. And
Yes, they always do
Absolutely.
such an amazing
They do.
job.
Yeah.
They do.
They
They
do.
do an amazing job, and all the volunteers.
They do. That's a lot of nips.
it's a lot of volunteers too.
Oh,
it is.
well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I think that volunteers has grown each year.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's grown. So the transfer station, I will have to go back to because I don't remember what my question was. All right. Do we want to? I'll do workplace standards because it's just a quick update, and then we can move back to your report and your evaluation. So the workforce standard, you had asked about enforcement.
Mhm.
And I actually had a call with them last week on Friday. The workforce standards were published in October of 2023 is when they began. They don't have an enforcement arm because they don't want to push people into doing this. They want uniformity and they want everybody in the state to sort of be in an equal place, and they understand that people are at different places. So they're offering the waiver so that if somebody doesn't have the education that they need, one of the things that came up is our nurse, is she an LPN or an RN?
LPN.
She cannot do TB surveillance for us. It's not allowed.
I did TB surveillance, and I'm not anything.
But you weren't supposed to. I've never known anybody that wasn't a nurse to do TB surveillance. But I was surprised because I just assumed that because she worked for Whitman that she was an RN. So I didn't know. So at some point we're going to need to figure out if we have somebody with a positive TB, how we're going to have that followed. You have an opportunity through workforce standards to get education because now the community colleges, if you're over 25, you can go for free.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know that she wants to do that. You know what I mean? If she wanted to work toward getting her bachelor's, if she was doing that, they would allow her, I don't know. So that's the only problem with that. But anybody who wants to apply for a waiver has foundation courses that absolutely have to be done first. The people that are going to be reviewing the waivers, they're in the process of picking them now, so it's down the road 2 or 3 months before they actually have a board that's going to review waivers. So if we wanted to put in a waiver, we wouldn't really do it right now. We'd have to wait a couple of months until we know that they have a board that's going to review it. And it's going to be up to the board. But the board would want to see that that person was moving toward getting all the certifications that they need.
Are we specifically talking about the town nurse in this use case?
In this case, we were talking about the town nurse, we were talking about the agent, and I said, okay, what do we do if the person doesn't have the minimum requirement? And they said, well, then you could, if the person was willing to go to school and needed time to acquire whatever certifications they needed, then they would sort of grandfather it in, but would have to be with the goal of achieving.
So just going back to your original statement that they don't have an enforcement arm and that there's no consequence if we don't adhere.
Right.
The waiver and the contingent education it's just a recognition thing. So I'm confused if they're not enforcing and there's no requirement to meet these standards enforced by any agency.
Well, there are requirements to meet the standards. They're just not enforcement. There's not enforcement because they didn't want.
What's the consequence of non-adherence then?
I asked that, and she said that was not. They hadn't set up regulations.
This is still in
deal
the
with
beginning
that.
stages of
Yeah.
this stuff. They're
Still
expecting
early.
still 3 to 5 years for the stuff, because, the workforce standard is different than the stuff we get through the, DPH and stuff. So this is all, a lot of it's just still in development stage. And the whole thing is to, gather everybody together and on the same page. And, it's gonna take a little bit. I never knew that about the TB, because I know most of the nurses around in the towns here are all LPNs.
Oh, I
Very few.
haven't met any that are LPNs.
Yeah, there's quite a few out there that are doing
I
it.
have not met any.
Believe the news,
This came out of a report that was published in maybe 2019. The blueprint. It was 122 pages. I was not going to print it. These were recommendations that they said. So it's not really in a development stage. Some of the things are in development. They still have certain things like the enforcement. In order to get the enforcement in place, they have to come up with requirements, and then they have to go to the legislature. And that's sort of not where their focus has been. Right now, they're trying to get people up to standards of recognizing what they need, and then giving them an avenue to be able to do that. And that's what the waiver does. It gives people the opportunity to take the classes. But yeah, I don't even know how they came up with a conversation about the TV. But you did mention the TV has to be an RN.
Right. So, I'm trying to understand what Gil was saying, that this is, the state is working towards developing like a standard for the Commonwealth. And they've published documents, like the blueprint and these documents, that are prescriptive to say, these are the qualifications that
We feel we needed,
that
right.
are needed in local
Yes.
public health agencies and roles.
Right.
They don't currently have an enforcement arm.
Yeah.
And there's no monitoring of requirements met.
I don't know about the monitoring.
Yeah.
I didn't ask about that.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm getting at is we have time to
Oh, we
become
definitely
adherent
have- oh,
over
yeah.
time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if we want to plan to be more adherent over time, and before any state enforcement or monitoring is implemented, that's our choice as a board to do.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But they also, that's an opportunity they wanted to afford to people, because sort of people are in their jobs and you're coming up with their standards after they've been in their
Right.
jobs. So
It's
you
very
want
disruptive.
to provide a path for everybody to get to the same place.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
I think what we need to know is, at what point will there be enforcement and monitoring where we have to be compliant?
Okay.
That will lead to some sort of consequence. Otherwise, it is prescriptive, and that's valuable as well. We can move toward doing better,
Right.
but it's not on fire.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. And, well, do you want me to ask them to attend me? Zoom.
Not necessarily.
No?
I would just be curious about when, like, if and when there's going to be any monitoring.
She said that was something that they would have to write regulations around, and it would have to go to the legislature.
Right.
And so that's anything to deal with the legislature is going to take time.
Yeah.
So, and that wasn't where their focus is right now. Their focus is in getting the information out and making it so that people can actually attain, making a path for people to get the training that they needed. Yeah. So.
Gil, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts, and all of our thoughts, because it impacts all of our roles. As members of the board, there are requirements. As the nurse, there's requirements. What do we all think?
Well, I think a piece I sent you like 2 months ago maybe, that came from the state.
Yep.
Which this kind of mirrors that to a certain degree, where it put the people in place that were going to do enforcement and training and all that stuff. And the workforce standard, it's there, but I think when you do the workforce standard, that stuff has to go through the legislature. But they're trying to develop these things so people know ahead of time, get things going here and there. Because I think most of those people aren't even in the jobs yet. I think they wait for this, 2025 budget and stuff. This is, wanted what they want these people to do. So
I'm not sure what you're talking about. These people aren't in their jobs. These standards have been adopted.
No, I'm talking about this thing I gave you a couple of months ago that he's got in his hand there.
Which one?
No, I thought it was the
No.
other one you had. Okay, I don't have that
He
with
sounds
me.
like he's talking about another program.
Yeah,
so
I'm
I don't
talking about
know.
from the
I don't know,
Department of Public Health
what
that
that
came
is.
out then.
Yeah.
The one from the Department of Public Health that came out.
DPH.
Yeah.
All minutes are on top, sorry.
No, that's the full button tell. Contract.
This is this piece again.
Same thing.
This is the summary from the board.
Yeah?
Public Health Excellence, MAHB.
Same thing.
MAHB again. These are my notes on MAHB.
Yeah.
Duxbury Regional Corps. Bill, was it just through?
Yeah, DPH is.
I do not have a DPH.
I haven't heard it, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if there's something different.
To dig that out again.
So, yeah, I'd be curious to know
Yeah.
if the DPH has communicated anything.
Right, and are they just say, because I would think that they're working with DPH.
Yep.
On this, so I don't know what program he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's different.
See, this comes out of Executive Office of Health and Human Services, which is different than DPH.
Yep, EOHHS is
Yeah,
different.
different DPH.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're related, but.
Right. Yeah, I
So-
know nothing about DPH coming up with standards.
Is it a good source document for development plans?
This?
Yes.
Yeah, it is in terms of sort of letting us know.
And when I say is the mass.gov workforce standards document a good source for development opportunities? Sorry.
Yes,
State clearly what it is.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it is. Because it tells you if you've got somebody new coming in, what they should be working towards. Somebody who's been in the job, if they don't have it, especially like all the foundations, they want everybody, almost irregardless of what job they have, to have the foundations. And they want the board. No one in the past has ever made a recommendation in terms of at what level people on the board should have information. Yeah, so each job it tells you what's recommended as the minimum standard for that job. And then the training, it tells you the training numbers that are good for each role. I haven't gone in and done any yet.
So impacts to our area would be registered sanitation or equivalent for the health agent,
Yeah,
the BSN for the town nurse,
yes,
and then the foundations courses for board members.
for everybody.
For everybody,
There's one for Teresa, there's one for all the board members, different ones for, Joe as well.
Yep.
They were all, yeah.
So we have to determine if we want to act on this as a group. I don't think it's.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very pretty.
They smell good
beautiful.
too.
Oh, yeah, peonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Good for you. The Board of Health.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing us flowers?
Because everyone loves flowers,
This
right?
is true. I mean, they're
True,
beautiful.
and they smell
And they do
wonderful.
smell.
Usually, they do really smell. Usually people
I'm
don't.
checking up on the engineer, Shane and Mike Wood. You remember McDonough, 164 Waltham Street?
Oh, yeah, but that's not on the agenda.
That's what Mike said this morning.
But it doesn't need to be on the agenda.
Oh,
It doesn't, yeah, that's, which I also told Mike this morning.
okay, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be on the agenda because there are no, there's no variances on it. But we just received revised plans
From Shane.
this afternoon.
Brilliant.
So it takes a couple days for them to be reviewed
Yes, I understand.
and
that.
signed off on. And Mike, he will be permitted. He said he's gonna bring in the, his payment for his
Yes,
permit.
he is.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're on schedule.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And we have flowers.
And we have flowers.
We're not gonna be able to leave this room because it smells so good
I
in
know,
here.
they are beautiful.
My friend Lisa
Thank
can
you.
get them downstairs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you, don't,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy the flowers.
Do you have any
Thank you, they're
recommendations on how to move
That
forward
face
with
is
this?
for you too.
Oh, really?
I know
Oh my
for
God, the vase is
myself,
beautiful. Thank you.
I'm gonna start taking
Thank you.
the foundations courses. I'm interested in what they have. And the website, the train site has a zillion different things.
Yeah, I've been on it.
So, you've been on, I haven't been, I signed up for it, but I haven't sat down to do it, but I'm
It's
definitely
very
gonna
easy
take,
to enroll, and it doesn't require a town email.
No,
You can
it doesn't.
enroll with a personal email.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I did that, but I haven't gone and looked at the classes that are recommended for board members, but I definitely am planning on taking those.
Yeah.
Um,
The foundations class, I think, is like 4 hours or something.
is it?
It's not very, very long. There are
4 hours is not long, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well-
I gotta pack my snacks.
4 hours.
But I wonder if it's one of those things where you can start it and stop it and go back and forth.
Yeah.
If people don't have 4 hours.
So
It'll be interesting to me to see what it is they
Yeah.
think is a good.
the way I'm receiving this, not as a board member, but as a member of this group in general, as a member of this entire group, is it's a good source to become better at my role. It's not a requirement, and
Right.
I will endeavor to take these classes out of personal interest, but
Right.
not as a requirement of my role
Right.
or as a
Right.
decision of the board.
Right.
Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That is fair. That is fair. And like I said, I'm interested in taking that.
Yeah, the foundations course looks really good.
Yeah. I'm sure there's stuff in there that I don't know.
So yeah, I'll be taking the foundations course. I'll share feedback with you as we go
Yes.
through it. So it'll be good.
That's between now and next month, I'll have to do that. Okay. What was she looking for? Nothing on ours.
No, it's 164 Waltham, or 146 Waltham, I think it's 164. It doesn't, I've talked to everybody involved, all the parties involved today,
And nobody
And
talked to her.
and told them it's not on the agenda, it doesn't need to be on the agenda, and we just got revised plans this afternoon. Like, it just came, there's a process, and it needs to go through the process.
People weren't communicating with her, I guess.
I don't know.
But that was nice.
It was very nice, very nice.
Do smell good. So, so workforce standards is done. So, Gil,
Yeah.
you want to do your report?
Yeah, so you wanna do the assessment, cause the assessment, I didn't redo that,
Oh, where is your?
I didn't redo that because the class was gonna be today, and I was gonna discuss the assessment thing with the class, and they decided to change the class to next month. So I didn't redo the assessment, so.
Okay.
That was going to be today's class, on the assessment and how to do it.
How to do your self-assessment or assessment of other
Well,
people?
the same thing, the whole thing. They were gonna do all the assessments in this class, is what I was told, and they changed the class. They're not gonna do the class till next month because of what's going on in town and stuff, so. But,
So I had given him the self-assessment tool 2 weeks before our last meeting, and then he hadn't had an opportunity to do it. And I guess now he still has.
I did do it, and I was gonna rewrite it. Cause you got the assessment, and you weren't happy with the answers to the questions.
No, no, it wasn't that what you gave me didn't tell me about you. It told me about other things that you had been doing in your job. It didn't tell me about you, the things that you had accomplished, the things that you had worked on. You told me about different projects, but that wasn't what the focus was supposed to be. It was about you as an individual. Like last year, let me see, you had goals set up, things that you were going to do.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Just so I understand protocol.
Yep.
Are there other agencies or boards in the town, for example, the Conservation Commission,
Yes.
that there's a conservation board and then there's a conservation agent?
Yes.
How are they managing this same process?
Right now, everybody's being trained on the forms.
Okay.
There was a meeting last month that they were supposed to do it at. The Gil was in a training with the conservation agent.
We were in a seminar.
He was in a seminar or some kind of training.
Yeah.
And I think there were other people that, for whatever reason, didn't show up at that meeting. So they must have planned to do it again. And it's to go over all the assessment tools so that everybody's in the
So the
same
assessment
place.
process is being rolled out?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Are we ahead of the game by asking for completion of like forms related to a process that's not yet defined?
We did this last year.
So we're
So
using,
we were way ahead of the game, I guess we could say.
is our is last year's process aligned with the process that's being developed? Like,
Yes. Now? Yes.
Well, the one that Gil and the conservation agent are also attending the, are we in line with what other boards and agents are doing? In our timing, in our methods?
Okay, so the class that he was in last month had nothing to do with this assessment. He was in a seminar at the same time that he should have been at this training. The training and the seminar happened at the same time, but they didn't have anything to do with one another.
Yep.
It was two separate things. So we were probably the only board last year that did the assessment. I don't know about other
I
boards.
don't know what other boards.
I
It
don't
was
know what other
developed
boards does.
internally.
It was developed internally. It was
Okay.
done last year.
But
so
there's a standard that's coming out that's for the town.
the forms that they had before they didn't like. They just came up with new forms,
Mhm.
and I think they're doing a whole HR thing with all the department heads, and this is part of the process.
This is the
How to
training
do
right
the
here.
forms, huh?
This is the training right here. This is the schedule of the training right here.
Okay,
For the
I don't know what it
evaluation
is.
forms and everything.
So this is leadership training for the department heads.
Yes.
Including the health agent within the town of Hanson. So when you're doing Teresa's evaluation, these are some of the things that you'll
Yeah.
adhere to.
And the proper filling up of the forms.
And the proper filling out.
I was gonna say, I thought they were having a class specifically to go over the forms.
So now my other question is it the board's role to evaluate Gil's performance?
Yes.
And should one of us be attending this training?
This training
That's
doesn't,
that's what's developing this full, form system.
see, I would say
Evaluation,
no.
4 or 5 different evaluations. This is the training that's developing.
And who is evaluating the conservation agent?
It would be that board.
Okay.
It's that board.
So I would want to make sure that we're in line with what the conservation board is doing. And any requirements of any board in general. Like, so who would we talk to? HR to understand?
It would be,
Is it
We
in
don't have
No.
an HR department.
Okay.
it would be Lisa. Lisa's our HR representative,
Lisa is the select board,
town administrator.
okay.
She's the town administrator. See,
Okay.
these classes, to me, this is more about the workplace
Mhm.
that they're creating in the building. This doesn't have anything to do with the forms, how you fill them out, how you evaluate people. I thought it was a separate class that they were having to do this,
Okay.
not this.
Has Lisa provided the conservation board with guidelines on evaluating that agent?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I'd have to ask her because I wasn't. I went down and asked about the forms when the forms were signed off, and I know that they were having training classes
Mhm.
that were ongoing, and I thought this was part of it. So I wouldn't have asked about another board.
Yeah, but and I'll share my concern and why
Okay.
I'm asking this line of questions. I wouldn't want to implement an evaluation policy that's not in line with something that the town is rolling out for town employees
Okay.
as a board. I wouldn't want to disrupt any policy that they have as employers and Gil adheres to as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And without understanding what those evaluation requirements are and bringing awareness to someone like Lisa, like
Mhm.
we want to, as a board, we want to evaluate. Do we need that kind of feedback loop? That's where my line of question is going. Do we need to have feedback from Lisa as the town administrator to understand what's the evaluation protocol for other boards and agent relationships, and is this appropriate for us to do?
Okay. I can ask her.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, what other boards are not appointed that would be evaluating the agent or the person in their department?
Planning. Would they be evaluating the town planner? Like, would the planning board evaluate?
But are they
Tony.
appointed?
They are elected.
They're elected.
They're elected. So they would be doing the evaluation for Tony.
I don't know. I mean, the
This
Board
is-
of Health is different than any other board
Yeah.
because most of the department heads report to the town administrator. The Board of Health is the only department head that doesn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't,
But again, I'm totally out of the loop.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah,
in
me
a, we're in a
too.
pickle. This is interesting.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would be worthwhile to have a conversation with Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
so that Gil has the same experience as his peers, and if we need to understand how that's happening, I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
Gil, how's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I missed the first one. We were on a state call, but this is what, as far as these forms of evaluation, I think, we're going to be discussing all those forms of evaluations and whatever there is during these classes. There's 3 classes. This one here for June has been moved to July sometime. I think the July one's going to be moved to August or something. So what they're planning.
And this is you as a department lead evaluating folks on,
Yeah,
within your
like I
staff,
said,
so, yep.
yeah,
And it's
and
unique.
it's decided because as far as evaluation goes, anything like the people I would be evaluating, it would be union people, and the union hasn't accepted this yet, so it's still
They haven't accepted the forms.
Are you both
Correct.
union?
no. I'm
No.
not a person.
You are-
on the transfer station, the attendants.
The attendants are.
Yeah.
Teresa, you are.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah, and Gil, you are not.
no.
You're
No.
admin, yep.
So I-
It is unique, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a unique situation.
because nobody else,
Well, thank you. Oh, you're the best.
she went that way. She's
That makes-
fast.
It was. Thank you, Kim. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I will ask her what the plan is, because we are unique in that.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that we're giving Gil feedback.
Mhm.
Feedback's important, but in the same manner that other agents and department leads are receiving it as well. Because you should be getting feedback from someone. But
And this is the first time it's ever been done.
Yeah.
In Hanson. They've never done
an evaluation system.
ever.
Okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We can figure this out. We're smart people. Yeah.
So I started to say, so last time you did an action plan, and on that you listed all the things that you were going to be working on. So the self-evaluation that I asked for wasn't necessarily for the projects that you were working on, but the individual things that you had done.
Okay.
And that was why I gave it back to you.
Okay.
Because you talked about specific different projects
Yeah,
that you focused on, but it wasn't about you.
even with self-evaluation, some of the projects you work on, you're somewhat evaluating yourself working on the project.
And I
And
thought
that's
that
quite-
was what your class
yeah.
was going to be on these forms,
You know,
that it was
so-
going to be teaching you how to do the self-evaluations, so you can explain to the people that you're giving them to how they would do them, and then how the evaluations were done.
This class.
That doesn't look like that, though.
That's what they're saying. This is the classes. I mean, the guys, you know.
Did you get a sense that any of those were?
My sense for that is that this is how leaders are performing evaluations of their staff, of their teams. And it's a series of classes on how to give. Gil, do you mind if I read it again?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
me it didn't, I really thought they were going to have something where they would go over all the forms, not caring enough.
Yeah, so executing strategy, implementing plans, executing can be challenging in business. Performance management, creating cohesion, leading employees to success. Yeah. So there are components of this that are leadership training.
Right.
There's nothing here specifically for evaluation, like
How the forms, and how
performing
you do that,
the
right,
evaluation,
But
yeah.
you're asking people that have never done this before
Mhm.
to perform evaluations, and I would think that they would have had time, or
Yeah.
at some point they're going to show them how to do it.
And they have created and published forms already
Yes.
Yeah, that's what those forms are.
And so I thought there'd be a class where they would go over that.
on how to use those forms
Yes.
for evaluation. Okay.
Yes.
So, and I think it's unique. We're in a unique situation because the town administrator will support the evaluations of other department leads. Gil is an exception. How do we manage that exception?
Right.
And I think we need to get counsel from the town administrator to be aligned.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to endeavor on an evaluation that's
We can get from Lisa. Because I knew they were doing the classes like what I thought was different. that they were actually going to be taught how to use the tools.
So the follow-up question is, will you reach out to Lisa to
Okay.
determine how other agents are being evaluated?
Well, I can ask her too when they're planning on rolling it out, when everybody's going to be doing it, and how each department is going to be doing that.
And who's the appropriate people to perform the evaluation?
So
Who are
is it her or is it the board?
Is it her or is it the board? And in this unique situation, what help can we get? If it's always the town administrator evaluating the other agent leads,
Mm-hmm.
how do we manage this unique situation? Is it
Right.
right for the board to do it, or is it right to find another way?
Yeah, because I think the town administrator doesn't have the ability
Right.
to do it.
Then if it's within, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
And we'll take it from there.
Yep. Okay. I still don't remember. So we
I don't think
that off.
conservation's even discussed this shit. I mean, you can check with, Phil's return.
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
We're basically in the same boat.
Yeah, like I said, I thought they were doing more in terms of showing people how to use the forms and how you use that tool. That's maybe my mistake in thinking that's part of what they were doing. I don't know. So why don't you go on with your report, or unless you have something else.
I have one item that I wanted to bring up, and it's just agenda planning in general. This is
Mhm.
I can create this as an agenda item for a future meeting if that's more helpful.
Yes.
And I'll probably ask Teresa if we can do that. But for the next meeting, I'd like to discuss the board strategy for the year.
Mm-hmm.
What are the agenda items what are standing agenda items that will always be on the agenda, like the agent's update, septic plans, and things like this? And
Yes.
then when we're thinking about board strategy, what are the things that we want to accomplish in a year? And what informs the monthly agenda?
Mhm.
And how do we know that we're making progress as a board? So we can talk more about that in our next meeting, but that's a topic I want to introduce to the board.
Okay. Yeah, there are the.
All right.
Okay.
Gil, sorry.
So, well, that's a couple of things that I wanted to bring up too, that along the lines that you're talking about here. Like the fireworks site. The fireworks site, the EPA did make a site visit out there, and they started the scoring. They discussed at the last meeting, only a couple of minutes about it. So the EPA started the scoring, some tests they want done immediately, and they feel that it will be a year before it goes in front of the governor.
Can you define scoring in the context of this?
And what they said scored before, because it was scored before for the Superfund site.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain points that they give to certain things that are happening there, like all the munitions, most of the munitions in water, it's not in land. There's no inventory type of munitions or anything like that. So that's part of the scoring and the need and the type of munitions that's there. I tell everybody, which, listen to everything, what they dug up. If it blew up during World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam, it was made in Hanover. And so that's,
So can I just interrupt? So
Yeah.
they're scoring it to determine if it can be a Superfund site,
that's what
correct?
it is. The scoring is, and they feel pretty confident it's gonna meet all the criteria to become a Superfund site. The cost of it, well, as they talked, I know you're at that meeting. So before the Factory Pond Dam, going back towards the pond itself and the fireworks site, the amount of money that's been put in trust for that is almost gone. They figure it's going to be probably another $200 million to,
I understand that the funding that's in place now is enough to maintain the facility in a closed status.
Well, and what we did at that meeting, I questioned it again as far as the funding, as far as securing the site. And they feel that the funding that they have left will secure the site. But the asbestos removal they talked about at that meeting, that's going to go on, and they're finding more stuff, they're finding more munitions. If you see that last Friday, they did 5 shots, which
Yep.
is high above, so.
I heard it.
You heard it, right?
It was,
I thought I heard something this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything.
It's usually on a Friday, so.
Yeah.
But, so the DEP's having less meetings because Superfund's gonna start taking over, and the the site is starting to slow down a little bit, other than the asbestos removal and whatever emissions they find for the site. So, I mean, that's something I think should be something talked about all the time, because, you know, things will change. It's gonna be slow for next year, but, it will pick up, and there'll be other things happening. And, they've agreed to add more danger buoys, on the Hanson side there, because there's a little dock and a electric boat on the ski site, the store there, ski store.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was mentioned that at the meeting, so that's the basic update. So that, I think that'd be a good item agenda. And,
To have an agenda item to, it'll be on the agenda for the year, and it will be, as updates are brought to the
Yeah.
board on the fireworks site, we'll keep up with it. Yep. And that, the goal of that is awareness, yeah, okay. And to get it on public record that this work is underway. That makes sense. So, in summary, the EPA scoring is underway. It's looking like it's going to be scored as a Superfund site. The DEP is having less action. They're still managing controlled explosions of the ordnance and asbestos removal, but otherwise, activity at the site has decreased.
yes, decreasing.
Yep.
Okay, so the next item is, I've been in talks with, County East Bridgewater Health Agent. So 100 Industrial Way, which is at the Tri-Town site, behind there, the old Ritter Lagoons. Used to be septic lagoons out there managed by Ritter.
Mhm.
So now that's become a DEP site. It's got
What's the ad?
PFAS,
100
100
Industrial
Industrial Way,
Thank you.
East Bridgewater, either way. So that's being labeled as a waste site. And what they found in some testing, they found PFAS. And East Bridgewater Health Agent sent me the information on the PFAS. What they found it in the water, and they found it in Robbins Pond, which most of the drainage from the East Bridgewater heads towards Robbins Pond. So they put placards up at Robbins Pond, don't eat the fish, due to PFAS discovered. Still in a site as far as what they're going to do. There's more testing that's going to be done. They're doing a hydrogeological study, finding which way the groundwater is actually traveling, and indication indicates it's probably going southwest more than southeast. You know, heading towards the Bridgewaters in that area there, with indication that Robbins Pond is an indication that's the way groundwater moves. There'll be another 6 months to 8 months to see what's actually happening there. So I've been in contact with them. She sent mostly information they've done. They've put a moratorium on all irrigation wells and drinking water wells within a 500-foot radius of the site. We probably have 3 houses in Hanson on Franklin Street that actually touch that area. So there's a moratorium on drinking wells
They've
and
been
irrigation
informed,
wells.
sorry, Gil, to interrupt.
Yeah.
But those 3 Hanson houses have been informed of.
Yeah,
no
they will be
irrigation.
informed by East Bridgewater. So.
Thank you.
So this site's developing. It's been going for a while. And all the drainage in East Bridgewater stays in East Bridgewater. There's no catch basins or drainage that comes to Hanson. Mostly catch basins in East Bridgewater. Catch the stormwater and it turns it back to East Bridgewater, flows back towards East Bridgewater. So that's something to be watching too, because it'll be different once DEP gets going, more studies get going, the more information will be available to us. And
any chance that perimeter of wells and irrigation will change?
I don't believe so, unless when the hydrogeological study comes back.
Yeah.
And it's heading this way, which I don't think
But
it is.
It looks like it's heading into the Bridgewater system. That's good news.
Yeah.
And we checked for existing irrigation and wells on those 3 homes as well?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. How do we manage that?
We're the health agent from East Bridgewater.
Okay.
She's making contact with me, so.
Great.
How do you spell PFAS?
PFA apostrophe S.
Oh, PFAS.
PFAS.
Okay,
PFAS.
thank you.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it's in everything just about.
Yes, we're all wearing
I've
it
heard
right
of it,
now.
but I had no idea, like,
We're wearing
how
it right now.
how to
I'm
spell
not-
it.
You know?
Yeah.
If you want to watch a good movie that kind of explains what PFAS are, it's called Dark Water, and it's with Mark Ruffalo.
Oh,
It's
really?
very informing. Yeah.
Dark water.
Documentary or
It's
movie?
It's a film.
Film.
Yeah, it's a film. But it's about the DuPont site in West Virginia. It's interesting.
Oh, they did a lot of stuff in West Virginia.
Yeah, it was rough. That's not a recommendation to this. For the record.
No, right, I know, I
So
guess.
it's saying if you want to get more information,
Yeah.
watch this movie.
Yeah.
So the next thing is the conservation agent and myself have met with the owner of the Cranland Airport and the Cranberry Bogs surrounding Cranland Airport. We've walked the whole area there in the Cranberry Bogs and also his reservoirs. And he has had an invasion of beavers. And he's asked for us to, control the beavers through permitting, through emergency beaver permitting. We have the right to, relocate beavers and harvest beavers. So we've agreed with him for him to harvest the beavers somehow. I've also agreed with Frank Conservation to take down a beaver dam in one area and a beaver housing unit in another area. The lodge is in front of somewhat of a viaduct, and it's starting to block
Completely
the
blocked.
water. So, and we've agreed. We walked, did the whole 100 acres. And there's like 3 or 4 channels that the harvester's going to clear, and his workers are going to start clearing all the wood away.
Are beavers protected?
No, you can only touch beavers. Beavers can't be shot dead. They have to be harvested, trapped, and all that stuff. Beavers have no predator other than a moose, and they're a very strong animal. So
I see the guys up at Burridge fighting the losing battle of removing them, taking away all the stuff that they block, but they said, you know what? We're going to get 4 here, there's 1,000 over there.
Right.
They're just like, they block everything. I just didn't know if they were protected, and that's why.
no, what it is, no one can. Mass Wildlife and Fishery and Game cannot alter the wildlife. It can only be altered by public health and safety and stuff, and that's why the conservation and board of health issues, these permits. And he's pretty much got everything cleared. He moves water, which I didn't realize he moved that much. He moves 3 or 4 million gallons at a time, and he starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when he starts his pumps and the water starts flowing the canals, the water's got to be there. So the beavers haven't been there. So he's hired a professional beaver harvester, and a harvester uses every portion of the beaver when he harvests. So he's got a professional in there, and we're going to monitor. He's got and the Department of Agriculture agrees with all this because he's got permits with them and stuff, and Mass Fisheries and Wildlife, has no problem because they've got no control over this themselves. So we've got a good plan with him, and he's got 10 days for us to keep track, and if he has to expand it to another area, he can. So one lodge, 3 or 4 dams that they're going to remove.
Okay.
And then he's going to also set up some beaver deceivers. And the beaver deceiver, fakes the beaver out. Beaver's very smart. They don't mess around, and they cut trees right to a certain length, and he's got a little area there they've cut down like 5 or 6 trees that are 20 feet long. He's they're going to build another lodge and plug up his big viaduct that's there. So he's going to destroy that. So
That's interesting that local farmers or anybody dealing with the beaver problem has to engage the Board of Health and Conservation for permits to remove the habitation and the dams. I didn't know that.
I know in Burridge,
Yeah.
they catch their own.
Yeah.
We don't know what they do with them. We don't ask, but they catch their own and remove them. And I don't know. It's an ongoing issue, and they can't keep ahead because they block everything.
Hostra Farms in Whitman.
Yeah.
He wanted to move his herd of cattle, and he can't because they've got a place all. If you look at Hostra Farms, all the way to the left by the power lines, that's all flooded out because he's got like 60 beavers in there, and they move 40, 30,
Nice.
40.
They just moved from Hingham over to there, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just bought that property
Just bought it.
So,
to do dairy farming. So
That's tough.
he would have to clean out all the beavers to get rid of the flooding.
And that's what they're trying to do, is work with the,
Yeah.
health agent in Whitman and East Bridgewater Health Agent, so.
So, my last question, and this is
No,
just
go
an
ahead.
interest question. Where do the beavers go when they're harvested and trapped? Where are they taken, or are they euthanized?
They're slaughtered,
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
okay, they are euthanized,
slaughtered,
Same thing.
harvested.
harvested.
And the harvesters use 100% of the veal.
Good. For
I
that,
can't imagine what they're doing with them, what they use them for.
Oh, God, please don't talk about it.
No, I'm not gonna ask for details, I just don't know.
I thought
It's
they
not
were
like
relocated.
the
I didn't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
I like that
No.
idea better.
They can't relocate because they just build the issue someplace else.
They're moving the problem.
Right, yeah, it's like the Bears when they wanted us to move the Bears last summer.
Yep.
You just move it to somebody else's neighborhood. Yeah, I think they have lots of babies very quickly, so they keep generating. But they've been an issue for a while, Burridge.
So we, Conservation and myself monitor that one, so.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, Zero County Road, Meadowbrook Estates.
Yep.
Still haven't heard from DEP.
I saw people up there when I went to go pick my daughter up at the high school this afternoon.
Oh, maybe they went up there today. They didn't.
There were cars and there were people on the road.
Okay.
It's the first time I've seen people there in a
Okay,
while.
Maybe that's the testing people.
Yeah, I don't know.
They set up a testing protocol, and we haven't really found out what they're actually gonna make them do yet. They're gonna test the material. We do know the front material is solid waste. It's gonna have to be taken out. But, as far as where DEP's next step is, they gave us a list of protocol, the testing and everything, and they'll be informing us at a later date what they actually want the contractor and owner to do. So,
Okay. So Zero County Road, this was,
Meadowbrook Estates.
and this was the concern about the material used in the asphalt.
Yeah.
For
The
the
material, yeah.
Yep. And
Was that for like the
Solid
road?
waste, yeah, roadway, solid waste
The
used in
road.
the roadway.
Was contaminated.
what's this week's? I'm sorry, I'm bringing my memory back. What's the update that they were supposed to remove?
They were going to, they
non-conforming
haven't
material.
removed it yet. They're supposed to be removing that, first, area there, the entranceway. It hasn't been done yet. I think, they're waiting for DEP's, definitive action plan. What they want them to do.
And does it look like DEP is going to stand behind removal
Of the solid waste.
of the solid waste?
They have to, the DEP has to review the recycled material that's been used. They feel it's out of spec, but everything has to be tested.
Got it.
So.
Is construction on hold until that's reviewed? Or are they using other material?
That roadway, but the housing stuff in the rear end of it, all the way to the end, they're still working on the area, but if there was a lot of cars there today, it's probably the DEP and the testing people, so.
So they have another way of getting into that property.
They can go over that roadway, they just can't move the material out.
Okay.
Got it. Thanks, Gil. So construction is not hindered, it's still underway.
Yeah.
And that's good. For the business.
I got a long report today, so. Cranberry Cove testing started today, I took the first test down.
When's it opening?
16th.
So Cranberry Cove testing is water testing for
E. coli.
for
E. coli.
E. coli.
E. coli.
Great. I should start getting on this.
Oh, you can, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the heck.
One more thing, go here.
Mhm.
So the Mont Ponce ponds, they are overfull. Last week, the Central Plymouth County Water District Commission, June 3rd, had an emergency meeting on diversion of water from the Ponce Ponds to Silver Lake. The board had a meeting there. The ponds are way overfull. They're to capacity, and they feel that it's going to be a threat to property damage and it's an emergency thing. They just said property damage and human casualties if things get out of control. They don't believe that, but I've got a copy of the agenda if you want to read it. But so everybody was in agreement. No one, said please don't do it, but it's something that has to be done. So they're going to divert out of season to Silver Lake to the Jones River, and still try to get things over the Stuntbrook Dam. Stuntbrook Dam cannot handle the capacity the lakes are at right now, so they're going to create another diversion to send it to Silver Lake and Jones River.
So is that the only way, or are there other ways they can send it
Snake
to?
River, well, Stump Brook Dam in Burridge there,
Mm-hmm.
that's been handling 20, 30 million gallons for a week, and it just can't keep up. So now the diversion, which people get mad about that, but it had to take place, so. And they agreed to it, and they have to, go by the consent order, which is on file in the town hall here. Usually, the time when I got part of this, I got it from Mary. Mary was kind of watching this. And then I got a hold of it. She gave it to me when she was leaving. And plus the water department, we do monitor it also. But so it stays within the Board of Health. We had a representative, Don Howard used to be the representative. I don't think he still goes there. But it's called the Central Plymouth County Water District Commission. If you want to read their agenda here and stuff, that's what we're doing. But the consent order, it's on file in the Board of Health here. And
Central Plymouth County.
Hmm.
What's the rest of it? Water Commission?
Water District.
Central Plymouth Water District.
Water District Commission.
Thank you.
That chart there, the dam, water over the dam, and the diversion from the dam. That's the consent order, which I made a copy for. Conservation didn't have a copy of that, so I made a copy of Conservation.
And the water rates over the dam are greater than what is acceptable for the condition of the dam. And this is what is helping
It's over
justify
the
the
dam.
diversion to Silver Lake and Jones River.
Yeah, it's over the dam, over the top of the dam.
Yep. What is the public concern over diversion to Silver Lake?
Well, it's going the wrong way.
So like our water supply.
Yeah, Silver Lake's the water supply, Brockton water supply. It's going the wrong way when it diverts to Silver Lake. The natural flow is west to the Stump Brook Dam, and then to the Situate River, through Halifax and stuff. So.
What's the condition of the Monpont ponds in relation to our water supply? I'm sorry, I just don't know.
They don't. Well, they're tributary to a Silver Lake. I mean, they're tributary to a water supply.
The water, it's not going to impact water quality, right?
No, not
Diversion.
If it's going backwards.
No, still, because it takes us on the bottom. The diversion pipe is on the 36 side of Halifax there. There's a pump station there, so it pumps from the bottom. So
There's no eutrophic conditions at the bottom of the pond or anything like that?
no, not where this pipe is.
Okay.
So we're trying to get a picture of the pipe, and it's been there so many years. But this is the basis of everything I get so far. Danny, so I mean, I think that's.
I don't ever remember a time when they had to do this.
To go backwards.
To go backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an issue that we need to address with the dam and make a better dam?
No, they'd like to see the dam taken down, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, that won't happen.
So, and according
Not until
to
it falls down.
state legislature, it has to maintain the point at 52.5 elevation. The top of the dam is 53.5, so it's in the elevation of the pond is 55.5. So.
And you don't need water coming over the road on 58.
No.
And people don't realize surface water is different than groundwater. Groundwater, it takes surface water years to get to groundwater. People don't understand that. And they say, why do we have, water restrictions, but we have all this rain, but all this rain is moving. It's just going.
Right.
So. That's about all I got.
I have a question about the stuff that's going on down by the train station. Now, there's one building that's built.
Right.
That building is retail on the bottom and then apartments on top.
Yes.
And then they're just starting to do the second building, right? I can't keep track of all of it. I pulled into next door McDonald's, and I couldn't figure out what those buildings are where the trees used to be.
McDonald's or?
McDonald's.
Oh, McDonald's.
Well, no, the one I first was talking about Main
Yeah.
Street. The second building is going up there, but then I pulled in over here, and it used to be all trees, and there was nothing there. And there were two foundations there, but I have no idea what they're for. I thought the housing was going in further back.
Yeah, but you got like 30 buildings there altogether.
So what are the two in the front?
Those are the
Weird
beginning.
shape.
already.
Oh, they're weird shapes.
Those are the beginning. Let's get how many units total going there.
Yeah, I just, for some reason, I thought they would be much further back. You're gonna be able to roll out and be in the parking lot of McDonald's. Not that you should, but there's just like new stuff going up all over the place.
There is,
Mhm.
there's a lot of growth in Hanson right now, and it's,
I'm glad to see the foundations going in down by Main Street, where Restoration Coffee is going to go.
That's the one I was talking
Yeah.
about. I knew something was going on because the elevator's there.
Yep.
And that's how it started before, but I don't even, how many units are in those buildings?
36,
Yep.
36 in the first one, I think.
In each?
48 in the second one.
And there's a good number of low-income housing, not low-income housing, but affordable housing within those as well, I think, as part of the.
That's slow rental or something,
Yeah.
Didn't
but
we look at have a conversation about the cost over there? Wasn't that the one?
Cost it on Main Street?
Yeah, wasn't it like 2,000 a month?
No,
that might have been wind,
no, we would,
trail.
yeah, Cushing Trails, we were talking about the cost there and,
Do they have apartments over there?
no.
No, this was apartments.
Oh, I have
We were
no
talking
idea what,
Jill,
oh, yes, maybe Jill, yes.
and that was I can't
Yeah.
remember if that was a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom
I think it was a 1-bedroom.
For 2,000.
for $2,000 a month. So when you said affordable, I was like,
I thought there were requirements for.
no, not for, I don't think so. I don't remember, because the planning board was involved with that.
Yeah.
And even if you had affordable, with 36 units,
Maybe one or two.
there might be one or two. Yeah.
That Main Street one, they're gonna start moving people at the end of the month. We're gonna do it Friday afternoon, we're testing the pumps for the septic system, and the pumps are working, and everything, so he plans on putting people in by the end of the month here, so
There's no parking lot, no nothing there, is
it's
there?
gonna be there shortly.
So he wants to start moving everybody in by July
Mandy and
1st,
is that still for sale?
as far as I know.
I would love to see that be turned into something other than, huh?
He's asking like $2 million for the property.
But how much could you put on that property?
You gotta take everything down first.
Oh, I know you do. Nothing, I don't know.
And the
It
ones
would be
that
such a
Dunkin'
nice
Donuts,
place to put something other than, a building that's just sitting empty.
This is the old Cranberry.
Yeah, it would be nice.
the ones across from Dunkin' Donuts should be done by the end of the month too. So we did the
Both
first
of
one.
them.
Oh, the ones on Main Street by the old fire station?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, everywhere. There's something going on everywhere. I just don't know how that helps the crunch. Housing in Hanson.
The planning board just finished the first draft of the master plan. That was completed this week and
Mm-hmm.
published this week, so it's worth looking into if you can.
Oh, okay. That would help me understand
Does.
where the growth is going to be.
Yep.
Let me sign faster here.
Do we have any other agenda items?
That's what I was just going, I think we have covered. Except I don't know what the heck it was I wanted on the transfer station, other than, I'm assuming they've abandoned the idea of, putting the dog pound up there.
I don't think there's money.
The only other thing I would, and it doesn't have to be this month, it can be next month, is talking about food waste reduction in the trash and ways that we can encourage that. And I'm gonna have to go look at, you said the buckets are up there at the transfer station, right?
Those
Tabletop
are-
buckets for people to compost.
Yeah, for scrap. I mean, they're
scrap.
like this big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the next big push. And we need to talk again about the, flowing. I need to check and see which company is paying more.
Oh, right,
I think the company we have is paying like 4 cents a pound, less than what we could get. So continuing to push those things, getting them out of the trash.
Yep.
And trying to do some type of education. The only other thing is if there's a way.
Is still the stuff going to the bulletin board, is that going on cable? I haven't checked in a while.
Which one?
Big Brother, Big Sister, going to the bulletin board for cable.
I don't know. I'd have to, when I go home tonight, I can watch and
check
see.
it out, 'cause I sent
Because
it-
that company, yeah, they partnered with Big Brother Big Sister. The last couple times I've set up pickups, they didn't show up, so I stopped
Really?
using them and I go to different places. What was I going to tell you? I've noticed that Blake Dennis is doing reports, the Plymouth County Extension,
Oh,
doing all kinds of training all around us. But I don't think we have any of it mentioned anywhere so that we could tell people. He does a mosquito one, he does a butterfly one, he does one on bugs.
they've never sent us
He's
anything.
just took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, they did them at the library. I went to one at the library.
Right, but if they don't notify us of anything, then how are we
I'm going to
supposed to
send you the
know?
list, and it tells you all the different places that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
going to be, because it's set up for the whole summer, so that if it's
Yep.
back in Hanson again, and I went, and there was maybe one other person there. And it's a good time because they're out. The mosquitoes.
Yeah.
They're definitely out. Other than that, whatever I wanted to say about the transfer station, I'll have to wait.
Shall I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you shall.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I will second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn at
5:39.
5:39.
Yep.